Alright guys, this week we're going to talk a little Star Wars Episode 7 and a lot of new speculation on who the main villain is going to be. Are they just going to make some shit up, or are they going to go actually tie it in with the line of the Sith Lords? Hey guys, it's Chris and I'm back with my cousin Dustin here for his valuable insight. Today we're going to talk about Star Wars Episode 7. We're about 6 months away, and the main concern I have is how they're going to tie the main villain into the story as far as the previous 6 movies. Now, we know that all the books now are considered... Damn it.
We know the books are not considered canon anymore.
Thank you. But at the same time, they still kind of got to follow a little bit of the storylines of the books, at least with the aspect of Han and Leia's children, and possibly Luke's down the line. We'll see how that goes. But my main concern is the villains. I don't want to see just some random guy. We know that we have this Kylo Ren character, and he's obviously a Sith or Sith-like. However, I don't want to see him just be some lone guy that calls himself a Sith, or some dark Jedi that just has learned a few dark side tricks and carries around apparently a fire crystal and a lightsaber with a handguard. I want to see this tied into the actual line of the Sith Lords, which of course ended with Darth Sidious and then with Darth Vader. So there's new speculation with the Andy Serkis. When the hell did you put that on? Anyway, there's new speculation with Andy Serkis, the guy who's going to be playing this main villain, and we've seen new screenshots of him with the motion capture stuff on, like when he played Gollum and Caesar in Lord of the Rings and Planet of the Apes. So that's giving you insight into he's obviously not going to be a human character, otherwise it would just be kind of a makeup thing. So that's led to a lot of speculation about Darth Plagueis, which is one of my favorite Sith Lords. If you haven't read the book, even though it's no longer considered canon, I highly recommend reading that. So this would actually fit perfect. So I'm pulling for this theory, although again it's just speculation, so don't take this as spoilers by any means. For a little background on Darth Plagueis, for you guys who have not read the books and are movie only watchers, Darth Plagueis was Darth Sidious's master, or Palpatine of course is his alter ego. Plagueis was able to manipulate the Force, and if you remember the scene from Revenge of the Sith, there was a scene where Anakin and Palpatine were at the opera, and Palpatine told him the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, and that was essentially who he was talking about. Now if you read the book, you know as well that Darth Plagueis was actually alive until Episode 1. So the scene where Darth Maul is around and him and Palpatine are on the balcony talking about revealing themselves to the Jedi, he was actually alive at that time. He was actually alive up to the day where Palpatine came into his office in the Senate and told Padme and those guys that he would be elected Chancellor the next day. That was actually the night that Palpatine killed Darth Plagueis, if we're to believe that he died. Now in the book he did actually die as far as we know, but that could easily be changed because if you read the book and know any little backstory on Darth Plagueis, he could actually manipulate midichlorians. He could actually manipulate and create life. So this would actually fit in pretty damn good if they did this right, because you could say that Darth Plagueis actually survived and he kind of sat back and just watched this whole thing crumble for Palpatine once Vader killed him, and then of course Vader died himself, and he could have been there the whole time in the background just like he was the entire time for the entire Star Wars trilogy, or all 6 movies for that matter. He was the one, again for some more backstory, he was the one that actually came up with the entire plot for Palpatine to rise to power in politics and take over as the Emperor, and then he was going to appoint him his second command when he was actually the master behind the scenes. So he was aware of Darth Maul. As badass as Darth Maul was, he was not a Sith Lord in the sense of he didn't receive the training and knowledge and history of the Sith in the lineage or rule of 2 established by Darth Bane. So he was more just a Sith assassin, and Plagueis was aware of him and let Palpatine use him, although the rule of 2 still applied. As cool as it would be to see Darth Maul come back 30 years later, because I guess a Zabrak can live a little longer than humans, he was not a true Sith Lord in the sense of learning history and knowledge of the Sith and the culture and all that good stuff and backstory. So this would actually tie in really, really well with him being there the whole time. He never actually died in the books, and he was so powerful he could manipulate the midichlorians, manipulate and create life. Again, Anakin was told this story, but Palpatine never really figured that out, except of course in the Expanded Universe books, Palpatine did survive and do an essence transfer into a clone. So Plagueis could have done the same thing, or he could have simply revived himself in his own body. Now during his later years, he did wear a rebreather, sort of like Darth Malgus in the Old Republic series. And again, back to Andy Serkis wearing the mocap stuff, this would fit with him being a different species because Plagueis is a Mun, and Muns are tall and skinny and have elongated heads, so it actually fit well that he play a Mun or some other species other than human. And of course, with the title, The Force Awakens, that kind of points to it, or at least I'm thinking it could point to the ability of Darth Plagueis the Wise to manipulate midichlorians and create life and that type of thing. So The Force Awakens. And Andy Serkis has also confirmed that that was his voice unaltered in the trailer, which is pretty badass when he's talking about there's been an awakening, can you feel it, both the dark side and the light. So I think it would be awesome to have Darth Plagueis fit in. That way they can maintain the continuity of the Sith Lords. It's not just some random Force-sensitive guy that found a few dark side tricks or how to build a lightsaber, all of a sudden putting himself in charge of the First Order, which is going to be the new Empire in this new Episode 7 film.
And also, they wanted the title to be Ancient Fear, something like that.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
And then they were gonna say, well, we were thinking Ancient Fear, that could have pointed to Darth Bane too.
Yes, good point. So yeah, originally the title apparently was going to be something along the lines of Ancient Fear, and then they decided to go with The Force Awakens. So that's another fan theory, is it could be, instead of Plagueis, that could kind of point back to Darth Bane. Again, for those of you who are not familiar with the expanded universe, Darth Bane is the Sith Lord who destroyed the last big group of Sith back in the Old Republic days. He destroyed the Brotherhood of Darkness. He was the remaining Lord of the Sith at the time and created the Rule of Two. So ever since then, he took an apprentice, Darth Zana took an apprentice, and on down the line through Darth Tenebris to Darth Plagueis to Darth Sidious to Darth Vader, and now we're going to see who the next apprentice may be, if in fact that is Plagueis or possibly Bane. Now the Bane theory holds water too, because he also learned essence transfer, or tried to, and if you read the Darth Bane trilogy, which again I highly recommend for you movie only watchers, Darth Bane was a badass himself. Him and Plagueis are probably my favorite Sith Lords of all time. He took on an apprentice, Darth Zana, and she became a Sith sorcerer. And she was one of the last specialty kind of Sith, like I was saying, Darth Maul being a Sith assassin. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Leave us a comment in the comment section below. What do you think they should do for the main villain? Again, my whole thing is I don't want to see just some random dark Jedi or some Force-sensitive guy who learned a few dark side tricks by reading Dark Side for Dummies just come in and leading the First Order or the new Empire, so to speak. So don't forget to like and subscribe. For you Game of Thrones fans, click here for my last Game of Thrones video, and click here for the Lady Stoneheart video before episode 10 next week. And we'll see you Sunday night. Thanks for watching.